At the baseball winter meetings in Nashville, joined now by the Orioles Director of Scouting, Gary Rajsich, and a lot's going on with people throughout baseball here. It's not just Dan Duquette. He's got a large staff of people here, including Gary. And Gary, you telling me today you were in on some meetings. There's a lot going on for you and your staff here. Or the people you have from your scouting staff here?
It's been a busy first day, Steve, yes.
What kind of meetings do you guys have today?
Well, we had scouting director meetings just to go over like the timetable for the draft, the scheduling, all those things. How many minutes in between rounds, mostly boring details, but, it has to be talked about and decided upon, and the timeline for the draft and all those things. We talk about all of it.
Any changes coming, or won't they not let you let too much out of the bag right now?
Not drastic changes, no.
So Gary, the Orioles are going to have a lot of draft picks. Baseball America today mentioned the latest numbers the Orioles have, and these numbers are going to change pending signings and so forth, but the 14th pick overall, 52, 69, 75, 91, that's 5 of the first 91, which would become 7 if Chen and Davis left the Orioles. There would be compensation picks, so that's a big haul of picks. What does it mean to you and your staff to potentially have that many?
Well, we're going to approach it like we always do. We're going to scour the best prospects. We're going to get multiple looks. We're going to make sure we have all the information we can get, and we're going to stand by what we do all the time, which is to try and take the next best player. But it is going to be a bigger spring. We're going to have to widen our scope on the amount of players that we see. So we'll be gone. We won't be home much.
Right. Interesting thing about the draft, if you wind up with that 14th pick, that means some people might think, well, they only have to scout about 15 players for that pick, but that doesn't mean that at all, does it?
No, it doesn't, but that's a good start. I mean, if you can whittle it down to the first 18 or 20, you have a general idea who will be there for that pick. Last year, or this past year, it was a surprise, and one of those players that we had ranked pretty high on our board did slide down to about where we're picking next year. So it's not like you can just say, oh, they'll be gone and we're not going to scout them. We need to scout everybody.
Let's talk about the high picks the Orioles took this year. With the 25th pick in round one, they drafted Florida State outfielder DJ Stewart. And we know he didn't put up the numbers he wanted or numbers that matched what he did in college, very prolific. How did you feel about his season so far, Gary?
I think DJ got a good inauguration to pro ball. He learned how to play every day. He learned what it was like to face pitchers with velocity every day. He'll be fine. I am not worried about that one. I think he's going to be a good, productive major league player that our fans in Baltimore are going to like, because he fits the profile of our club up there. Just a good, hard-working, blue-collar player that's going to produce results.
There was some information that he made some adjustments in his stance in instructional league and came out of the really low crouch. What can you tell us about that?
Well, he did a little bit, and I think he's trying to make some adjustments. I think in the long run it'll be for his own good, but at the same time, most hitters will tell you that as long as they feel comfortable in the batter's box, it doesn't really matter what it looks like until you make contact.
Now, one player that Gary drafted among many others this year was Ryan Mountcastle, 36th overall, the high school kid. A lot of those young kids went to the Gulf Coast, so he did very, very well, posted a good record, really showed that they're ready to move up the ladder. What did Mountcastle show you? It sounds like a lot of what you saw to take him so highly.
We thought he was one of the best high school hitters in the draft. That's why we took him so high. And he didn't disappoint us or anyone else. The feedback from the player development staff was very positive, and we're looking for great things from Ryan.
You look at McKenna, Heinrich. Some of those kids did real well in Florida this summer.
Again, our player development staff, the feedback from them was great. I mean, it's a good, tight-knit group of players. They all have good makeup. They all play for the right reasons. They're trying to win. They're going to push each other to be good. And I wouldn't be surprised if they keep them together as they move up and develop.
Interesting. Let's get Gary's take on one more player, and Tanner Scott. Fans have heard his name because of the premium velocity. He's touched 100 miles an hour in the Arizona Fall League, was named today as one of the top prospects from the Arizona Fall League. This was a kid drafted in the 6th round last year from a junior college in Texas. What can you tell us on his background, Gary, and what he's doing now to draw some attention?
Well, I think he kind of flew under the radar a little bit last year, but we thought he had a great arm. He needed help with his delivery. He needed help throwing strikes. He needed some development. But now that he's getting to that point where he's throwing the ball over the plate more often, the triple-digit velocities from the left side of the rubber, there's only a handful of guys doing that. That's why he's getting all the attention he is.
Did Did you see triple digits or the potential for it during the scouting process?
I actually saw it in instructional ball last year. So it had been there already.
But after he had pitched in the pros, right? I mean, when he was an amateur, did you see that this was capable?
After his first pro season, yes, we saw it.
Not bad, as you said, from the left side, pretty rare.
Not bad. We'll take that.
A good note to end it. 100 mile an hour, folks. There aren't too many of those guys running around out there. Hey, Gary, thanks. Gary Rajsich, scouting director from the Orioles. Appreciate you taking time.
Good being with you, Steve. Thanks.
Talking to Gary Rajsich, Orioles scouting director at the winter meetings on MASNsports.com.